Hello there, and thank you for tuning in to JIBtv2000. Sorry I wasn't there last week, but this is going to be the main upload, and I'm going to do a second upload just for you guys. Alright, so today we're talking about my review of Five Nights at Eddie's. Yeah, Five Nights at... Huh? Move my thumb. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. Sorry to disappoint all of you. I never watched this yet. I will soon, and I'll let you guys know what I know about that. But what we're really talking about is this book right here, Where the Crawdads Sing. This book was actually really cool, really great. I actually really enjoyed it. Um, it was kind of a slow start for me, but once I really got into like the groove of like reading it, it was so good. Like just all the twists and turns and all the it's just crazy. It was a great book. I really enjoyed it. Now if you guys want a spoiler free review, this was it. Now onto the spoilers. Now there's a whole thing about you know a rich kid or whatever, a rich guy. Um, some bad stuff happens to him. They find him in near the fire tower. Let's pull up the map, shall we? So it was around here at the fire tower. Hold on, let's angle that a little bit better. I don't know if you can see that, but the fire tower. And they found him, and then they're trying to find out what happened, and then as the story goes on, you slowly find out how things do end up panning out, and there's like the whole trial and stuff that happens, and it's really interesting. And then yeah, and then like by the end you find out that like it was actually because the main character here, Kaya, she was the main suspect because she's living by herself in like the swamplands in a shack by herself because her family slowly all left over the years, so it's just her at the house. And then she meets a guy. Um, they start out being friends. He like teaches her how to like read and stuff because she's living in that house all by herself in the middle of nowhere. So he taught her. He teaches her how to read and stuff like that. And then yeah, and uh, what else happens? Oh yeah, and then like after a while they start developing feelings for each other. They start being together until the guy goes to university and says, "Oh, I'll be back," but then he never comes back because he's too chicken to actually go and say that he doesn't want to be with her anymore, which kind of sucks to be honest. But oh yeah, and then after a while she meets the other guy, the guy that was found at the fire tower. He they were together for a while, and then what actually happened is they're together, and then the then after a while the other guy comes back to town, and he's like, "Hey, you shouldn't be with that guy. He's like with somebody else." But then Kaya's like, "No, I don't believe you. You left me, and I don't believe you." And then um the guy just says, "Okay, I'm sorry for what I did, but if you need space, I'll give you space." So then he left. He stayed in town, but he didn't really have much contact with her. And then after a while, she goes into town because she's made some money. Because the other guy, Tate, he told her to start writing books about the swamplands. And like because nobody's really made books about the swamplands there. So then she starts doing that. She starts making a bit of money. So then she goes into town to go grocery shopping. And, she runs into the other guy, Chase. And then she finds out that he's he's with a different girl. And then she goes inside to the store to buy. She sees a newspaper, and in the newspaper, it's Chase's wedding announcement in the paper. So then she just leaves. And then after a while, she's like, she's writing more stuff about. She's drawing more pictures of like animals and stuff in the swamplands on the beach part. Um, right around here. And then she's drawing stuff, and then Chase shows up, and then he's like all drunk or whatever, and then he's like, oh, I'm sorry about all that and all this and that, and then she don't wanna give him the time of day because he lied to her, and then things get a little too, let's just say, aggressive, and he tries to do stuff, but then she don't want to, so then she fights him off. She gets in her boat, says or she yells at him basically, and then she takes off. But then there was a guy in a boat that overheard it, and he came over, but he came over as she was yelling at him, so he didn't know what was going on. And then she left, and then a little while later she had to hide, basically. She had to hide from her house and stuff in case that Chase showed up. And then after a while, she did some other stuff. I'll just go from a review into like me just giving you play by play of the book. Anyway, either way. So anyway, let's just keep going. So basically, she she hid long enough that he got married and he just didn't care anymore. I guess he gave up. And then, um, oh, and then she sent in more stuff for another book. Or she no. She went to go meet the publisher of her books in a town that's a while out. Takes like you need a bus to get to. So she goes to go see him, and then she comes back, and then after a while, after she comes back, that's when the police think that she's the main suspect. And I realized I should have been doing this so you guys could see. Instead of me going like this and looking like a god, I should look like a common folk. Just kidding. No, maybe we should bring it down a bit. Oh yeah, there we go. That's a little bit better. Anyway, so um, they they figure she's the prime suspect. So then they bring her in. They arrest her. They put her on trial. And then the guy who's representing her as her lawyer, he helps her and tries to convince the court that she's innocent. So then she is innocent, and or she's ruled innocent, and then she finally had her happy ending with Tate. Everything was good. They grew old together. She wrote a lot more books, and things were going really great. And then, oh yeah, did I mention she's collecting like shells and feathers and stuff like birds and the beach and stuff like that? Well, that. Anyway, so by then they're like old. There's like a lot of stuff in their house, like a lot of feathers and shells and other neat insects and stuff that she cataloged over the years, collected. And then eventually when they're old, basically they've grown old, and then she goes for a boat ride, and then she passes away in the boat, and Tate found her. She married Tate, by the way, I think, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, you could correct me. But anyway, so then she went out on her boat one day, and then she never came back, so Tate went to go check and found her in the boat. And then they had the funeral and everything for her, and then he goes back to their house or their shack. And then she's been keeping like the wood pile. They have a little wood pile for wood stove inside. She kept that topped up for forever, and then after they after all that, he notices there's a little cut out of the linoleum. So he moves all the logs and he looks, and there's a hole. He was looking for a birth certificate for her, but they don't find that. So then he doesn't find that. So then he looks under the woodpile floorboard thing. There's like a little hatch in there. So he opens it. He finds a bunch of papers and stuff, and there's like a what's the word for a person who writes poems? Poet. He finds a bunch of papers for poems from a poet, and then he makes the realization that the poet is actually Kaya. And if when you read the book, it's like there's always like sections from like a poet named hold on. Sorry. Where is it? Named right there. Amanda Hamilton. A poet named Amanda Hamilton. That's actually Kaya's poems, which is crazy to think. You know, she's been making money. She's making a little bit of money sending out poems to newspapers and stuff. Like that's actually kind of cool. And anyway, and then oh, sorry, I forgot to add too that Kaya gave Chase a necklace of like a little shell on a piece of rawhide that he never took off after she gave it to him. So then he took that, and then when they found him at the fire tower, he didn't have that necklace. And that necklace is kind of important. So then after all this time, everything's already all done and over with, and she was deemed innocent. Tate finds a metal box in that little hatch area, and then he opens it, and Chase's necklace was in that box. And to me, that was like, what? No way. No way she actually did it and got away with it. That's crazy. And what did Tate do? He took that necklace, he took off the rawhide, he threw that in the wood stove. Then he went to the beach and he just dropped the shell into the water. Like, what? That's a crazy end to a book. I didn't expect it. I loved it. It was all the twists and turns and the switch and the other switch, and then back and forth into the past and the future. And it was like swimming through crazy twists and turns. But yeah, it was a great book. I loved it. 10 out of 10. Would read again. Maybe. Oh, and anyway, yeah, I guess that's the end of the broadcast day. And thank you for choosing JIBtv2000. I'll see you guys later. Bye.